jet plane headed into western skies. And if I had a rearview mirror, that's how I pass the time. Looking back on leaving I'm done, it should be old hat by now. Don't I want too much lingering touch? Did I hold her too long? 1,800 miles from the Chesapeake to this great divide. 1,800 miles separate me from the truth inside. I am lonesome, lonesome under western skies. Drive this road that long ago echoed with hooves, Arapaho. And as I pass these ranches, I almost feel their ghosts riding along. Never cared for conquistadors plundering mountains for gold. Please don't fear, I haven't come here to prospect for love or reward. 1,800 miles from the Chesapeake to this great divide. 1,800 miles separate me from the truth inside. I am lonesome, lonesome under western skies. West beckons like an old friend, leading me to parts unknown. I draw gallons of cold comfort, knowing this road leads me home. Is it my heart missed her from the start, or does thin air get to my head? 1,800 miles from the Chesapeake to this great divide. 1,800 miles separate me from the truth inside. I am lonesome, lonesome, lonesome under western skies. Whoa. Thank you so much.
Going back there.
Thank you. Unmarked blacktop winds back in time. Remembered ways I've known and left behind. The signs have changed, but the way is clear. It's been so long since I've been here. Memories point past that sycamore tree. Make a left where the miller's red barn used to be. The gravel gently gives beneath my wheels, and I remember how it feels. The rusted tractor rests among the cedar trees. A pause between the past and what's to be. 10,000 houses don't leave any space. This was home when this was a different place. These windows watch 3 generations grow old, and the silent statue stands to times long ago. When they say you can't go home again, I know what they mean. But I still see those fields of green. A rusted tractor rests among the cedar trees. A pause between the past and what's to be. 10,000 houses don't leave any space. This was home when this was a different place. Open red clay wounds weep every time it rains. Castles grow instead of acres of grain, and I wonder if those kids will know where food comes from, and if someday they'll ask where we have gone. The rusted tractor rests among the cedar trees. Pause between the past and what's to be. 10,000 houses don't leave any space. This was home, and this was a different place. This was a different place. Thank you. Thank you so much. I certainly have seen a lot of that change in Loudoun County in the 20-something years that I've been living there. To those of you who've discovered the future of Loudoun County, I should tell you that my hosts here run Virginia wine tours, and for any of you who are thinking about coming and exploring Western Loudoun and our Northern Virginia wine country, you couldn't find nicer people to do it with, and they picked out a very nice red tonight too. Cheers for that. So some of you might have thought to yourselves, singer-songwriter, you know, expect, I don't know, someone strumming their guitar and singing earnestly songs about themselves and their relationship to the universe and all of that. And I'm not really that kind of guy, but I don't ever like people to leave disappointed. So if you wanted the autobiographical, I'll get it in quick. I did grow up in a musical household. My dad, for all I know, could be watching with my mom at home in Connecticut tonight. My dad, as my earliest memories of childhood are of him sitting there playing his piano, playing those great classy old standards from the 40s and stuff. You know, these jazzy songs. When I first started learning how to play guitar, you know, the songs with melodies I couldn't remember, chords I couldn't play, and all that kind of stuff. I was really interested in A, D, and G loud, not a tune when I started playing. I didn't really have much use for all those 13th chords and major ninths and stuff. So my dad at 79 years old, still likes to go out and do gigs. Nowadays, rather than pay a band, he brings along his keyboard that has somewhere, by my reckoning, between 75 and 105 musicians in it, none of whom get paid a cent when he does a gig. He's got strings, horns, drums, you name it. All those chips are in there. And meanwhile, he's working for, he's happy to get himself a prime dinner for him and mom, but not on a night when he's gigging. I've tried to talk to him about this, musicians working for food thing, not being in all of our best interest, but let's just say that Dad's got his own ideas about things and call it good. Now, it's fun because for me, my dad's still out playing, and there aren't many people his age who are doing that, but every now and then the chips get boring and he likes to go out and play music with real people. And so he'll go and sit in with friends who have bands, various different folks are having a jam session or something. And a couple of years ago, he sat in with these friends of mine who have a pretty good rock and roll band. And in the interest of full disclosure, my dad can play a pretty mean Hammond B3 organ when he wants to. Allman Brothers and Santana is right in his wheelhouse too. He's just, it gets kind of boring for him, I guess, after a little while. But anyway, he went out and had a good time with those guys. And of course, I'm dying to know how it went. So the next day I call him up and like, so how'd it go? And the first thing he says is, huh? Okay, I get it. Oh, it was fun, loud, but fun. And then the quote that I'll never be able to erase from my brain. That Freebird is a pretty good song. And if he's watching right now and denying it, believe me, I remember it very distinctly, every single word. And I also remember when Freebird came out that he wasn't all that enamored of it. So what I was interpreting that was my dad was laying a plank across the generation gap to me, and so I ought to reciprocate. So this is a kind of a jazzy thing I wrote in his wheelhouse, and it's called Expecting Bad News. Telephone rings, Pulse picks up the beat. Got no explanation for my rising body heat. Guess I'm just expecting bad news. My least favorite words are "we gotta talk." They're usually followed by a long and lonesome walk, 'cause I'm expecting bad news. When the mailman comes, let the dog run loose. I won't shoot the messenger, but every refuse. Call me irrational, but I won't lie to you, 'cause I'm expecting bad news. All right, fire. Issues I don't wanna know. Here's some advice for you: just pack them up and go. You can keep those letters coming and call me if you choose. Keep your secrets if you're bearing bad news. And I just can't take no more bad. I'm as free as a bird now.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Everybody doing all right? Comfortable? Good wine, good food, good people. What more could you ask for? I hope everybody out in TV land is comfortable too. So my daughter is the fourth generation of woman to grow up in a different culture from her mother. My kid is as American as apple pie, but my wife was born and raised in the Republic of Panama. And her family came to Panama after her mother's family left Cuba when Castro came to power. And a generation before that, they had come from Spain. And why that matters is because if you were born in Cuba to Spanish parents, you have a Spanish passport. And a couple of years ago, when my wife's eldest aunt, Tia Eloisa, who had stayed in Cuba after the revolution because she was already married and settled down with a family, she decided she wanted to come and visit her family in the States. And because she had a Spanish passport, she could do it. And that passport was pretty good because she stayed like 2.5 years. And I was thinking, wow, man, Fidel hasn't even missed her. That's pretty remarkable. And, you know, I'm the sort of person who gets clues from the evidence laying around and draws my own hypotheses. And I got to thinking, you know, she decided to spend that first winter with her granddaughters who live in Omaha, Nebraska, instead of on a warm tropical island. That tells me something about said warm tropical island. If you've ever been to Omaha in February, you probably wouldn't make that choice yourself. And so the more I thought about it, the more I was realizing, you know, life in Cuba must be really hard. It must really kind of suck. And the more I thought about it, you know, I got to thinking about all of the people who come here and what the messages that we were hearing so loud and clear all week this week in Washington and New York and Philadelphia about people who are living in such desperate straits south of the border. And just, I tried to imagine what it would be like to be one of them, to live someplace where you feel such destitute and danger that you decide that the best thing to do for your family is to leave with whatever you can carry on your back in the hope of actually getting here and getting across the border and making money and sending it home, and maybe be lucky enough to someday be one of the few who gets to stand in front of a uniformed officer of these United States and take the oath of citizenship and say the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm never even thinking about the right or the wrong of it, just about what would that journey be like. I got to thinking, you know, that's pretty crazy. That would take a lot of courage. And I've been a lucky man to have lived my whole life here. I wonder if it really was me, I wonder if I'd find enough courage to wear these shoes. Now, for those of you in the room, the people at home are singing along on the chorus, even if they don't get the words of the chorus right. And that's okay. It's participatory democracy. In the darkness, in the desert, searchlights glare and there's gunshots and shouting, but somehow I slipped by, only God knows why. The trucker dropped me at the Arkansas line. Where I come from is where the drugs run, and the men come with money and lusts for honest living. Oh, God's forgiving, for I left my family for this one chance I hope, and I have dreams just like you. Oh, if I let you walk in these shoes, would you be here? No one trusts me to do more than me, but I've got secrets. I learned English. Someday the name on the door will be mine, and I have dreams just like you. Oh, if I let you walk in these shoes, would you be here? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with justice for all the politicians. Take their positions, collecting campaign cash to build a wall behind them. But I could work the vote, dirty jobs you do. And all I ask is the right to be human, and I have dreams just like you. Oh, if I let you walk in these shoes, to be here. I have dreams just like you. Oh, if I let you walk in these shoes, to be here. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next stop. For any of you who get motion sickness, sorry I didn't give you a warning that we were going to take a little detour down the back roads and blue highways tonight. Next stop, the great Red Rock deserts of the American Southwest. Never have been able to figure out what it is about that mysterious and austerious landscape. The red stone and the blue sky. The fact that there are very few places for man to hide from himself. Or why it always seemed like that was the place that I wound up when I most needed to be there. Whatever the mysterious reasons are, I always come away from Canyon Country renewed in the belief that at heart each and every one of us is an endangered species well worth saving. It's called wishing. outstretched wing. From that altitude, I bet you'd see a lot of funny things, like red rock glow 'neath desert skies. I hope way up there's a place where our souls collide. Gravity, it holds me down, keeps my orbit safe and low enough to ease the blow when I hit the ground. While angels glance and prophets laugh at this flightless rustic poet stumbling blindly down the path. In the blinking eye where dreams take flight, it's deafening in the quiet under these restless stars so bright. And if I wish on their falling light, I'd wish I didn't need to make a wish tonight. Whooping crane, his joyful dance, and he's so unaware of all the perils of his new romance. With one wing high, one leg kicks, has 10,000 fathers before guide his way through this. In the blinking eye where dreams take flight, it's deafening in the quiet under these restless stars so bright. And if I wish on their falling lights, I wish I didn't need to make a wish tonight. Oh, I wish I didn't need to make a wish tonight. Thank you very much. So it's been 20 years since my first CD, Traveler, came out, which is hard to wrap my head around. Now, when you're starting out as a singer-songwriter and you make your first CD and all of that stuff, you're not thinking about what you're going to be doing 10 or 20 years later. And you're not thinking about the fact that you're going to have to keep writing songs and keep making albums and keep doing things to make night after night after night not turn into a routine or a rut. So I find that it's a good idea to every now and then pick up an instrument that I have no business playing in front of people and forcing myself to learn something on it. And of course, since the only things that I play are songs that I wrote, I had to figure out how to play one of my songs on it. Now, I bought this beautiful resonator guitar with the intention of playing regular old slide on it. And what wound up happening was I got lazy one day and I just flipped it on my lap. And it's actually Pat Wichter's fault. I'm going to blame it on Pat from Brother Son, because we were sitting around at a campfire late one night and he handed me his dobro and said, "Here, have at it, man. It's easy. There's nothing to it. Just a little wank, wank, wank here and slide and all it's good." It's a fine instrument to accompany other people, other musicians and all that. But to do one of your own songs on it is, well, maybe not recommended or advisable, but nonetheless, I have it and I'm about to. So I had to find something out of my repertoire that was sort of spooky, slidey enough to do it. And because I'm a marketing genius, I picked the one off the record that's out of print, my second CD, Where This River Runs. I used to be an environmental engineer, and as a kid, I always had an overactive imagination. Since I've been aging and maturing at dramatically different rates for all of my adult life, those two facts are colliding head on in this song. I don't know if you have the sort of friends like I do who send you these sort of sarcastic postcards from places, but occasionally, you know, you'll see these black night sky postcards from Louisiana, from southern Louisiana, from the swamps of southern Louisiana, with nothing but the pink sodium light glow of all the chemical manufacturing plants and refineries along the Mississippi River and all those spooky blackwater cypress swamps, which to me always seemed like a great place to not ever get lost after dark, if you know what I'm saying, and perhaps a perfect recipe for chemical voodoo. Moon sweats with fever, wet with clouds blood red, a dark patch of bayou swamp where angels fear to tread. Pipes long forgotten from beneath refineries and chemical voodoo hangs like heat from hell. The swamp keeps dark secrets, 'cause no one's returned to tell. Chemical voodoo. The legends come in whispers. His name they will not speak. One night his hero vanished in a tangle of cypress trees. That he met his maker, that much is certainty. And chemical voodoo hang like heat from hell. The swamp keeps dark secrets, 'cause no one's returned to tell. Chemical voodoo. Oh, oh, halo of the factory lights cannot penetrate the trees, and dank with evil, and the wind blows like disease. Under eyes of industrious skies, so far from St. Evangeline and chemical voodoo hang like heat from hell. The swamp keeps dark secrets, 'cause no one's returned to tell. on a chemical voodoo. Thank you. Maybe I'll just move this off to the side. Got to challenge yourself as an artist. Playing instruments that you don't know how to play in front of people is definitely a challenge. This is not one that I don't know very well. This comes from that first CD and 20 years ago. For all of those folks who somehow play roulette, coaxing a living and green things out of the deep, dark dirt to keep the rest of us fed, dancing in the rain. Perfect. I missed that. All of my years I've lived here. It's the only way I know. Run the family farm with the grace of God above, fertile soil below. Summer's gone, 11 weeks of searing stormless choke. $50,000 worth of dreams going up in smoke. Sacrificed another field today to keep the others growing. Had to sell my milking cows to keep the bankers going away. That line of clouds across the sky might bring the winds of death, the raindrops to my eyes. My wife, she's out there dancing in a checkered kitchen dress, trumpets running down her brow, and her blonde hair's getting messed. Iowa can be a place where fertile famines drink. This year just poured life down from the brink, and I'm dancing in the rain. Before today, my luck had gone. A hard left toward the worst, enough to make an honest man. Think a farmer's life is cursed. Remember tales on my granddad's knees of soil that sprouted wing. It's taken 30 years for me to appreciate these things. My wife, she's out there dancing in her checkered kitchen dress, trumpets running down her brow, and her blonde hair's getting messed. Iowa can be a place where fertile famines drink. This year just poured life down from the brink, and I'm dancing in the rain. Heard it on the radio, Dakota wheat fields won't survive. Cousin Jack up there will find some way to stay alive. Mother Nature's fickle ways might someday do me in, for I'm on my knees in gratitude, 'cause it's raining. Next year we might stare at this same mess right in the face. This old White House and apple trees keep me fighting for this place, facing up to troubles that my children might not know. When you keep your generations on the farm all in a row. My wife, she's out there dancing in a checkered kitchen dress, trumpets running down her brow. Can be a place where fertile famines drink. This year just poured like out from the brink, and I'm dancing in the rain. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's fun to do a concert with a live audience and a web audience. I don't usually get to do the both. It's either one or the other. I have no way of knowing where people are joining us from tonight. Do you have any way of knowing that? They're just there or they're not. So wherever you are in the country or across the pond, wherever you are, thanks for tuning in. If you don't mind, there's going to be a second set after the next couple of songs. We'll have an intermission. Tell some friends on Facebook or Twitter to come join us. There's plenty of room online for more people to come on in. And we're saving the good songs for the second set. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, that was a reminder. Yes, cell phones on stun. I forgot. I think I did mine. We were talking about the Smoky Mountains a little earlier. You went down to Gatlinburg. This is a song about the folks who settled in Gatlinburg a whole long time ago. The simple truth, the tale of my life laid out while I was but a youth. My family farmed these hollers since my great-great-grandpappy lived here in these misty woods where the last of the Cherokee. First loggers came with big machines tearing up the earth. Appalachian hardwood trees for all that they were worth. Rip coves and balls of light took all the land would give. Left us with a few cold coins and no place left to live. Moon set slowly in the west, bringing darkness to this life and all the rest. Lord, these mountain ways will end when the last coach out of Gatlinburg is going round the bend. The federal government took my land in 1931 to make a national park here in the home of the Cherokee sun. Tourists came from New York town and pottery and girls, staring at these hazy slopes and a barefoot hillbilly girl. Moon set slowly in the west, bringing darkness to this life and all the rest. Lord, these mountain ways will end when the last coach out of Gatlinburg is going round the bend. No place left to go but a government house living with flatlanders. The politicians throwing stones Now I've got nothing against wilderness. In fact, I like some too. Just give me back my rundown shack. It's all I ask from you. My homestead lies 2 exits down this old 4-lane highway. Paid over by a strip mall with a Smoky Mountain name. Moves head slowly in the west, bringing darkness to this life and all the rest. Lord, these mountain waves will end when the last coach out of Gatlinburg is going round the bend. Moons that slowly in the west, bringing darkness to this life I've loved the best. Lord, these mountain ways must end when the last coach out of Gatlinburg is going round the bend. Thank you. Thanks so much. I'm going to close out the first set with one from Something Worth Standing For, which I did not write. I helped. It was written by my bandmate, John Rickard. 1/3 of Dang Varmints. Truth in packaging, if ever there was. This is the only song I've co-written that was partially written in a pickup truck. Now, singer-songwriters are noted for having lots of things to complain about. And again, I guess I don't fall into the typical mode because I'm pretty happy-go-lucky guy and I don't have a whole lot to complain about. And the glass is always half full and all that. But because I'm a singer-songwriter, people expect me to complain about something. So I look for things. And eventually I'll find something. So my complaint is not that this song is not in the movie Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I've learned to live with that. That's okay. What gets under my skin just a little tiny bit is that's like the only movie in the last 20 years that they haven't made a whole bunch of sequels to. So if any of you know George Clooney personally, please let him know that it is time to sign on the dotted line to make Oh Brother 2 and that we have a song for him. Actually, I can't even complain about that. It's called Count Your Blessings. Actually, you could talk to George Clooney for me. It'd be all right. Right on. Count your blessings, don't count your gold. You don't need money when you're lying cold. You can't buy your way to heaven, I am told. Count your blessings, don't count your gold. Good deeds that you've done, lend your hand to help someone. St. Peter's got his list, he's checking everyone. Count the good deeds that you've done. Count on Jesus to be your friend. Stick with you right till the end. He'll be by your side no matter how you sin. Count on Jesus to be your friend. In spite of all your troubles, all you need is on your back. lessons you learn each day. Let them guide you, show you the way. Follow the word, you won't go astray. Count the lessons you learn each day. Count your blessings, don't count your gold. You don't need money when you're lying cold. You can't buy your way to heaven, I am told. Count your blessings, don't count your gold. Count your blessings, but don't count your gold. See y'all in 15 minutes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Gatito.
Short for little cat, which is exactly what he's not. And then the calico cat, who is tiny, is the gatita con manchas, cat with patches. They have names, but why use them?
Yeah.
They're cats. One needs to retain some modicum of dignity when dealing with cats. They are what they are. Are we live? Are we Memorex? I have
that age is shit.
we have no idea how many people are joining us, but we're assuming that there are a throng of at least dozens, and they're hooting and hollering at their computers right now and posting it on Facebook and Twitter and all that other stuff. So I might as well bring something from my part of the state over here to the seaport. How high is this mountain that I've fallen down? How far have I tumbled to be here? And how long must I climb to see sweet sun again? Out of this valley of despair. Is this mountain that I've fallen down? How far have I tumbled to be here? How long must I climb to see sweet sun again? Out of this valley of despair. How heavy is the cross that I am bound to bear? How long an uphill march lies ahead? How will I keep my heart turning to stone? Lift my face to the light instead. How high is this mountain that I've fallen down? How far have I tumbled to be here? How long must I climb to see sweet sun again? Out of this valley of despair. How far must I roam to find the promised land? How many miles more to Calvary? How many lonesome nights till I find that star? Set my course straight and true again. And how high is this mountain that I've fallen down? How far have I tumbled to be here? How long must I climb to see sweet sun again? Out of this valley of despair. Out of this valley of despair. Thank you. It's always fun when people know the words. It also helps if I'm forgetting any of them. So in Loudoun County, we have certainly seen our share of change in the last 25 years. And it's really cool that the wineries and the distillery and some of the breweries are all doing this really green energy kind of stuff. There's a lot of solar panels showing up all over. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you know, that's pretty cool. We're kind of finding a way to live with the land instead of turning it into cement and concrete and stuff that doesn't grow naturally. And yet we plant a lot of other things in Loudoun County too. In addition to the subdivisions, we plant a whole different kind of farm, the server farms that are allowing us to broadcast this around the world tonight. And the consequence that we don't very often think of is the fact that all of that stuff uses an incredible amount of energy. And every time we flip a switch on one of those server farms in Loudoun County, it's not too hard to feel the death of a mountain in southern West Virginia for the coal that fires the power to get it to us. I have a lot of friends who live in a place called the Coal River Valley of southern West Virginia, maybe better known as ground zero for mountaintop removal. If one were to fly over it with Google Earth or in a small plane or something, you'd see what looks like the moon stretching and spreading over this whole big stretch of what used to be 500 million-year-old beautiful mountains. A few years ago, I got asked to write a song for an album of songs about mountaintop removal called Still Moving Mountains. There's a song from Kathy Mattea's beautiful coal record. There's one from the Del McCoury Band. And I decided what they asked me to do was write a song about the people who live with the consequences, the communities of mining families that are living in the shadow of these earthen dams and what used to be mountains. And so I got together with my current bandmate, Les Thompson, one of the founding members of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, and our good friend Chance McCoy. Chance at the time was the reigning West Virginia state fiddle champion. These days you can find him on the road playing guitar with Old Crow Medicine Show. Which leaves me as the only one of the three of us without a Grammy Award. Oh well, c'est la vie. Yeah, it's okay. It's still fun to write with guys like that, you know? So anyway, we wrote and recorded it in a day, and there's a lot of different versions of it floating around, but this is my own, I guess. It's called Made by Hand. Granddad was a union man, worked deep beneath the ground. Say a prayer in the morning and forget to see the sun go down. A day from night by lantern light to earn enough to eat. By Saturday moon on the mountainside, the fiddle moved their feet. Went in the mines at 14, took a wife at 21. Raised 5 kids in a holler like his daddy done. The company cut costs and corners everywhere it could. Still every Sunday they gave thanks that they had it good. I know the times are changing, they say progress is good. Do we honor honest work like my granddaddy would? The eagle soaring high, would he recognize his land? Built upon the sturdy backs of those who made by hand. Daddy left these mountains for the mills of Ohio. Rolled the steel that won the war far away from home. But back in Granddad's holler, big timber stripped the land. Laid the railroad tracks that can't bring back the lives they made by hand. For I know the times are changing, they say progress is good. Do we honor honest work like my granddaddy would? The eagle soaring high, would he recognize this land built upon for West Virginia, her hard blue rolling hills. Memories of childhood, I hear those echoes still. But my family stories vanished, but no place I could find. They even tore the mountain down where Granddad used to mine. I know the times are changing. They say progress is good. And do we honor honest work like my granddaddy would? The eagle soaring high, will he recognize his land? Built upon the sturdy backs of those who made by hand. Built upon the sturdy backs of those who made by hand. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, having a kid changes everything. Oh my goodness, changes everything. For instance, I never really worried about how anybody would interpret the words to my songs before I had a kid. When I hear my CDs streaming out of her bedroom every now and then at night to put herself to sleep, I think to myself, ooh, I wonder if she gets that. Now, another thing that I found a little bit, unanticipated, shall we say, was the fact that taking care of a kid costs a lot of money, especially if you're not the one doing it. Daycare is like a gold mine every year. Now, having spent a little time in a daycare, I can say that it's probably still a bargain. But when faced with the choice of my wife and I being able to start working again, there was a need for daycare for this small child that happened to share 50% of our DNA. So the first day we walked in there, and I was kind of trembling because I never wrote checks for money like that on a regular basis, really, ever. And so we walked in, and she's all signed up and everything. And they're like, hey, so you're a musician, huh? Yeah. How'd you like to make a deal? And I stared at my checkbook for about a nanosecond. And I said, you have my complete attention. How about you come in here and play music for these charming little people for a couple hours a week, and you can leave your checkbook at home. I said, done.
What?
And then I realized I have no skills, qualifications, certifications, or anything else that entitles me to be the responsible adult in a room, never mind with a bunch of impressionable young children. But I thought to myself, how hard can this be? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, old McDonald had a farm. I got this. No problem. Yes, I'm happy to do it. So the first morning at the daycare where I met the 18-month-olds and the toddlers and the pre-K ones and the pre-K twos, I got a college education in about 10 minutes. Because, man, I knew nothing about childhood education. Oh my God. Having one well-mannered kid is really not much preparation. Walking in a daycare and expecting to be the center of attention. So I will, for any of you who are contemplating going back to school and getting a degree in early childhood education, let me distill down for you the 4 years that I learned in 10 minutes into a few small salient points. One, people under 3.5 feet tall do not care if you are a virtuoso on your instrument. That is not important to them. Not required. In fact, people under 3.5 feet tall don't even care if you play your instrument in tune. That's not required. At some place around the 5 or 6 minute mark, I started to think to myself, I could have showed up in here with a garbage can and a mallet, and it would have been fine because they didn't care if I even knew how to play the instrument I showed up with. And then I started thinking to myself, oh my goodness, what is this all about? The thing that they do care about, people this tall care deeply about, is that you can sing "The wheels on the bus go round and round and round." That's the passport to Pamper Paradise. Never forget this one thing that I have told you tonight, and you will be okay. So there I was, playing the ABC song, "Oh McDonald," all of that, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting my feet underneath me now, and then it's off to the kindergarten kids, and working with the kindergarten kids was okay. And the thing that was weird was over the weeks, I realized that sometimes kindergarten kids are just like the 4-year-olds, and other times they're completely different. And the problem is you never knew which way the switch would be flipped on any given day. So I would walk in there, and sometimes they'd be like, "We want to sing the ABC song." Again, really? Oh my God, okay. And other times you'd walk in, and there they would be, a little pocket of them. 3, 4 sweet little fellers tugging on their pockets, arms folded, sour faces. "Those are baby songs. We don't want to sing baby songs." Hey, you know, I'm just thinking to myself, oh my God, I hope they can't see what I'm thinking, because I'm thinking to myself, all right, big fella, what is it you'd like to do today? So the thing about kindergarten kids is they're playing around with words. You know, they like language, they like songs. I'm like, I'm a songwriter. I should write songs with kindergarten kids. What could go wrong? And for a while it went okay. We did fine. We wrote songs about monarch butterflies and about classroom rules, about keeping your hands to yourself and not poking your little buddy in the eye, and, you know, stuff, useful stuff. And so I got a little bit too much into cruise mode. And I started thinking, okay, well, then let's push the envelope here a little bit. And we got through the winter, and we got through Christmas, and we got to February, and it's like, okay, February, month of dead presidents. Well, they're learning all about Washington and Lincoln. How about we, I don't know, let's broaden their horizons. Let's write a song about, I don't know, Rutherford B. Hayes, whatever. You know, just some president that's not so, they want to know part of this. Nothing to do with this. February, we want to write a love song. You're 5. Explain to me exactly how this is going to work one more time. Exactly what would you like to do? And this is the hard part. I stayed up too late the night before, and there was the Victoria's Secret commercial that's kind of looping through my head. And I'm thinking, there is no way that I'm going to be able to do anything appropriate with these kids for Valentine's Day. So thankfully, here's the other takeaway, is McKnight's first rule of writing songs with 5-year-olds is you let them write the words. And then your job as the responsible songwriter adult in the room is that you help take the words and massage them into the singable parts and discreetly remove the inappropriate references to bodily functions that wound up in the first draft. So what you're about to hear is an authentic, original kindergarten love song written by real kindergarten people. There are a couple of things that I should point out about kindergarten love songs. Anyone who's ever dropped a cuss word in front of a 5-year-old knows that when they get something in their mouth that they like the sound and feel of, they say it a lot. So it's repetitious. 2, like their attention spans, it's kind of short. And the third thing that I always like to point out to audiences is that little people start singing along about the second time they've heard the chorus. So that doesn't leave any of us who have gone on for university educations any excuse not to sing along too, all right? So this is, for any of you keeping score at home, this is not a fake. This is an original, authentic kindergarten love song. Everybody needs to give a little love. Everybody needs to get a little love. Everybody wants to have a little love that makes the world go around. It seems so simple, doesn't it? All of the babies need a little love. All the kindergarten need a little love. All of the big kids need a little love that makes the world go around. Everybody needs needs to give a little love. Everybody needs to get a little love. Everybody wants to have a little love that makes the world go round. All right. All of the parents need a little love. All the grandparents need a little love. All of the animals need a little love that makes the world go round. Everybody needs to give a little love. Everybody needs to get a little love. Everybody wants to have a little love that makes the world go round. Everybody needs to give a little love. Everybody needs to get a little love. Everybody wants to have a little love that makes the world go round. And everybody needs to give a little love. Everybody needs to get a little love. Everybody wants to have a little love that makes the world go round.
How's the bass?
Kindergartners. They'll keep your perspective. So, being a songwriter who gets lumped in the folk category, I find that stylistically I wander all over a great map of music that I like from all kinds of different genres. But every now and then there's a sort of the weight of being a folk singer falls on your shoulders. You find yourself compelled to write songs that you don't really want to write. Sometimes they're hard to write. This one brewed for way too long, and I want it to go out of vogue soon. It's called I've Had Enough. The ticker streams across the big screen. It's somewhere someone lost their head. And when he dove right off the deep end, took 10 people with him when he went. And each one went to work this morning, hugged their spouses, kissed their kids, never knowing they'd become targets. And we watch and wonder why they ever did. And I've had enough tragedy taking aim at you and me. Tear down these walls of labels that we've made. And I've had enough tears and pain. Can't we find another way? Who's gonna be the one to say I've had enough? Oh, whoa, whoa, I've had enough. Oh, whoa. The blue glow veil makes it too easy to tear down those who aren't like me. Strip away what makes them human. In the chat rooms filled with gasoline, but someone's on the outside watching, with desperate hatred in their eyes. Long ago that fire started. Late for us to recognize. And I've had enough tragedy taking aim at you and me. Tear down these walls of labels that we made. And I've had enough tears and pain. Can't we find another way? Who's gonna be the one to say I've had enough? Whoa, whoa, I've had enough. Whoa, whoa. don't claim to have the answers, but I know that kindness rarely kills. And I've had enough tragedy taking aim at you and me. Tear down these walls of labels that we've made. And I've had enough tears and pain. Can't we find another way? Who's gonna be the one to say that I've had enough? Whoa, whoa, I've had enough. Whoa, whoa, up and sing it with me. I've had enough. Whoa, whoa, I've had enough. Whoa, whoa, I've had enough. Thank you.
Enough of that.
Thank you so much. So I took possession this year of a brandy new guitar built just for me. My friend Marty Fair at Fairbuilt Guitar Company and I have been talking about this project for years. And I finally, a couple years ago, got around to sitting down and saying, look, let's make this happen. I want you to build me a guitar. I want you to build me a Marty guitar. I want you to build something that's going to coax new sounds out of my fingers. So we sat down and we, figured it all out, what we were going to do. And then I said the sentence that turned it into a huge boondoggle. I said, so many of my songs are from here, about here. I said, can we make this guitar from local native wood? And Marty thought, well, yeah, sure we could. That'd be great. But which wood should I use? And so what started out as build me a guitar turned into building 6 identical guitars, all with West Virginia high alpine red spruce on the tops and different woods for the backs and sides. Mine is made of black walnut, and it is at the shop getting the neck tweaked right now, so I don't have it with me tonight. But there are videos of it, and it will be back in my possession soon enough. But what happened was, because we started off on this boondoggle, a friend of ours who's a videographer said, this would make a great little documentary. We're going to make a movie about this. Okay, that's cool. So back in the spring, everything is coming to a head. The guitar is built. I'm starting to play it. And there are folks at the Herndon Arts Council want us to do a movie premiere there. So it's like, okay, well, let's do that. Then I realized that they were going to hand me the movie, and I had to write the script and figure out how it was going to all storyboard together. And thankfully, I had a great guy doing all of the editing work. Dave Kaiser did all of this 15 hours of film down to a 15-minute film. It's a lot of work. And of course, there needed to be a soundtrack song. So I was about, 6 weeks before the premiere, we were scrambling to get the film done, and I hadn't written the soundtrack song yet. So I sat down with my bandmates. I said, all right, look, I got to do this. Let's talk about this. Let's figure something out. And so Les, in his infinite wisdom about such things, said, well, you and Marty get to speak for yourselves in the movie. Maybe the song should be from the perspective of the tree. I thought, oh, well, yeah, that ought to be happy. Let's have a tree write a song about getting cut down. How am I going to make this into something that's going to work? And it's called By a Craftsman's Hand. I have been a sturdy tree, growing strong for a century, with roots and branches, rings and pearls. But I want to see the great wide world. I want to see the great wide world. Shelter creatures great and small, bound the Blue Ridge Mountain tall. I listen to my branch birds sing of what I'd see if I had wings, of what I'd see if I had wings. meet the sun or storm and tumble to the forest floor. With smooth cut, sanded, shaped and stained, by a craftsman's hand I'm born again. By a craftsman's hand I'm born again. I've been given singing strings, tone like a church bell rings. Now I travel across this land, and I found my voice in your hand. I found my voice in your hand. I have been a sturdy tree, growing strong for centuries, with roots and branches, rings and burls. Now I'm off to see the great wide world. I'm off to see the great wide world. Thank you. Thanks so much. So, you know what? I feel like playing a bluesy thing. A lazy love song, 2 lazy old rivers, 3 songs from my first CD in a show is rare. This doesn't happen very often. And I feel like playing a sassy song too. Maybe because we're on the internet. Maybe I'm just being, one of those, what are they, exhibitionists. We're gonna do sassy online tonight. It's called a Chaffalaya. Chaffalaya, won't you marry me? We can run like the devil through the deep blue sea. We can mix and mingle, we can dance in time. Oh, Chaffalaya, won't you be mine? Don't mind the big muddy, I'm working on it too. Spread my wide shoulders across the great bayou. I see the gators basking, lying in the sun. Oh, Chaffalaya, you are the one. Hey there, Mr. Mississippi, what's your line? Raising Cain in Orleans, running all the time. A Chaffalaya, make the break with me. We can pour like gumbo and laugh in the heat. Let me fall like oak trees when I flex my might. Oh, Chaffalaya, run with me tonight. Mississippi was your line. Raising Cain in New Orleans and running all the time. A chapel life, just like the good old days. All the street mile wandering and refineries clean. I don't need no coaxing, because the time has come. Oh, Chevrolet, you are the one. Slip over the levee, get ready to run. Chevrolet, you are the one. Thank you so much. Y'all doing okay? Everybody comfortable? Awesome. I'm going to put in another plug for Virginia Wine Tours, for Lindsay and Jameson's enterprise that brings people out to the country to enjoy the fruits of our hillsides without them staying and building a house. We're all in favor of that. Come and visit. That's lovely. Come and stay a little while. That's lovely too. But please, you know, we're still kind of dealing with how many people we got there, and they're all complaining about stuff. So come and enjoy the fruits of the vine, and we'll be delighted. We'll be delighted to welcome you.
You don't want to be damn yank.
You know, there are certain things about Loudoun County that you sort of just get used to after a while, like a new road showing up where there was a field last week. You know, it's just kind of crazy how the pace of change happens. So there's a lot of history obviously laying beneath those layers of red clay at home. Pretty much pages from every chapter of the American story have happened somewhere along the line in Northern Virginia and along the Blue Ridge and all. So I of course, am fascinated by history, and it's a great place to live if one is. And over the last couple of years, I've gotten myself sucked completely into this digital rabbit hole known as Ancestry.com. You can disappear in there for hours, man. My wife thinks I should take oxygen tanks with me. And it's my grandmother's fault, because she had been in the DAR, and so she passed down all this family history to us and kind of taught it to us. So I started plugging stuff in one night, and the next thing I know, I'm in England in the 1400s. And whatever I know of England in the 1400s is that I did not want to be there. So I just got out of there in a big old hurry, and it was sort of scary. But there was this one line of my grandmother's family that stopped like at my third great grandfather. I had no idea about anything about that family, and the rest of them, it's like it goes back and goes back, and I'm like, what the hell is up with that? So I'm playing around on Ancestry one night. I'm at my folks' house, and they like to watch a lot of TV, and I don't really like to watch a lot of TV, but in order to have a family gathering, it's easiest to be in the TV room. And so you're watching something, and I was kind of noodling around on the laptop, and I was plugging in different spellings of this guy's name. And finally I hit on Aretas, name I'd never heard of before. And all of a sudden the Google search lights up. I'm staring at a picture of my 3 times great-grandfather on the Connecticut Public Radio website from March 2014. His picture is part of an exhibition at the Connecticut State Library of Civil War soldiers from Connecticut who'd been at Andersonville, the notorious Confederate POW camp. Turns out that he got paroled late in that year of 1864, got home, and died of his mistreatment soon thereafter. Holy crap, man. I'm like, Dad, did you know anything about this? Grandma never said anything about him, you know? So the next entry in the Google search is a letter that this great-great-great-grandfather of mine wrote to the Hartford newspaper in the fall of 1862. And it's excerpted from a book that came out last November, not even a year ago, about his regiment. broken regiment, the hard luck tale of the Connecticut 16th. See, these guys had all signed up in the summer of 1862 when Abraham Lincoln issued a call for troops to go and put down this insurgency once and for all. And so they signed up all across Connecticut and marched around on the town greens in their uniforms that their families had made for them and went off full of bravado down to Washington on trains. And somewhere along the line when they were here, they were at Fort Ward or something, I guess, they were finally issued these ancient Belgian rifles that worked some of the time, and they had a drill. And then they were on a train, and on the afternoon of September 17th, 1862, found themselves standing, waiting to get called into battle in the late afternoon at the edge of a cornfield at a place called Antietam. My great-great-great-grandfather and his comrades took up the flank of one General Ambrose Burnside, he of the wet pants, who after fighting over the bridge over Antietam Creek all morning realized that one could ford across it and not get one's waves wet. And they were finally marching to finish off Robert E. Lee's army when the Confederate army that had taken the armory at Harper's Ferry marched in at a dead run, 17 miles all day, and hit these green kids from Connecticut in the flank and saved the day for the Confederate army and prolonged the war for another 3 years. These kids were slaughtered and they ran. And when they left Antietam, they were marched under guard by their own army as being suspected of cowards. And they wrote letters to the newspaper. And even after the war, those who survived were still trying to clear their name of what happened in that cornfield that day. These are a handful of pages from the diary of a Virginia farm boy who might well have been in their gun sights on his way to his own destiny along the road to Appomattox. Grew up on that mountain farm down Nelson County way. Wish I lived to see it again. That is not my fate. Upon my 16th birthday, war marched all around our land. I joined Virginia's volunteers, Robert Lee's command. 2 days passed upon the march toward Yankees and the front. I knew my trusty rifle, the difference was the hunt. We smashed into their backside up Loudoun County way. I'll not soon forget 3 boys in blue sent to early graves. Down the road to Appomattox, where bullets whine like bees, cut blossoms from the trees. On the road to Appomattox, turn boys into men and into memories. We fell back from Gettysburg with calloused feet and heart. Saw most of my company fall in Pickett's cursed charge. Winter spent on valley farms with little food or warmth. Hellfire came with spring advance and the smell of burning corn. Down the road to Appomattox, where bullets whine like bees, cut blossoms from the trees. On the road to Appomattox, turn boys into men and into memories. Perilous nighttime retreat, the fall of Petersburg. The city burned around us, Federals charging hard. I heard them call a chaplain, they heard me call on God. What a reward awaited me was blossoms from the trees on the road. The acrobatics turn boys into men, men into memories. There were battles won on both sides, history books confirm, but no one ever wins at war. The last loser asks for terms. Down the road, the acrobatics, where bullets flying like bees, but blossoms from the trees on the road. The acrobatics turn boys into men, men into memories. Thank you for singing. Thank you so much. So before I finish the show, I want to say thanks to everyone who came here tonight and everyone who's tuning in. Thank you for those of you who are donating via PayPal. That's part of my salary, and I greatly appreciate that a whole lot. If you're watching in far distant places, I'm headed to a lot of far distant places starting this week. Wednesday, I'm in Columbia, Missouri. Thursday's Manhattan on the Prairie. Boulder, Colorado on Friday. I'm in Colorado for a few shows. I've got a couple of shows in Nebraska next week, in Indiana, and the Northeast next month. So got lots of places to go. And please tell somebody. I could afford to be less of a well-kept secret, as you could probably figure out. I would be grateful. It's word of mouth that keeps the wheels on this bus going round and around. So thank you for doing it. Most especially to Jameson and Lindsay. Thank you for welcoming us here tonight, wherever in the world we're tuned in from. So my life in music is defined by one overarching thing: gratitude. Because a whole lot of people have done a whole lot of things to make my life in music possible. Starting with the guitar players in my dad's band when I was a kid, and treated me with the respect of an adult and a peer when I could barely wrap my fingers around an A chord on the guitar, long before I'd ever earned it. My friend Les, my bandmate, he and his friends, when they were teenagers, kind of caught lightning in a bottle. They would hang out at McCabe's guitar shop there in Santa Monica, and it was the early 60s, and folk music was the big pop music then. So folks like Tom Paxton and the Limelighters and the Kingston Trio would come to town and draw huge crowds, and they would stop by McCabe's. And so these hippie kids from Southern California and their love of old-time Appalachian and jug band music turned it into pop stardom as the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. And while that in and of itself is amazing, I still can't help but try to imagine what it must have been like. Les has described it to me countless times, but here you are, finding yourself in a recording studio, gathered around microphones, with people that you've grown up revering as legends. That's Doc Watson right there. Here's Mother Maybelle Carter here, Earl Scruggs here, Merle Travis. And your job is to make a record together. Can you imagine? That'd be pretty intimidating. A friend of mine out in Kansas who was plugging the show this week on his Kansas Public Radio show played a couple of cuts off of that album that they made 40-something years ago now called Will the Circle Be Unbroken, and it still stood the test of time quite well. I guess I always have taken my own meaning of that phrase as will the circle be unbroken, as you are obligated to pay back the things that have been handed to you. And so I hope from my own perspective that I treat every younger musician that I meet with the same dignity and respect that I have been showed long before I earned it. It's called Guitar Man. A man rolled into town one day in a beat-up Chevrolet. Said, my name is Luther Jones and I came here to play. He pulled the case out of his trunk and tuned up where he sat and while he sang, his fingers danced like fireworks on the frets. He's a guitar man, wood and steel strings ringing, guitar man. Love that song you're singing, guitar man. I wanna know what you know. Would you play us one more tune before it's time to go? He fingerstyled the cannonball and flat-picked soldier's joy. Slick from Robert Johnson's blues right down to red-haired boy. A crowd of people gathered around. The bills filled up his case, and now and then he nodded his thanks, a smile on his face, 'cause he's a guitar man. Wood and steel strings ringing, guitar man. Love that song you're singing, guitar man. I wanna know what you know. Would you play us one more tune before it's time to go? My Martins kept me company almost 1,000,000 miles. From town to town and stage to stage, kept going by your smiles. The times are tough all over, yet somehow we still get by. So check your trouble at the door. Now it's time to fly like that guitar man. Y'all can sing it. Wood and steel strings ringing, guitar man. Love that song you're singing, guitar man. I wanna know what you know. Would you play us one more tune before it's time to go? Hey, guitar man. Guitar man, I love that song you're singing, guitar man. I wanna know what you know. Would you play us one more tune before it's time to go? Thank you so much. Thanks for coming tonight. Thank you.
Hey, Andrew, would you play us one more tune? One more song, you know?
Is there one in particular you'd like to do?
No, whatever moves your spirit.
Okay. Something I rarely do. If ever. Somebody else's song. When I did a tour out west with Mary Bird in 2001. On the day that the planes flew into the towers and into the Pentagon, I had a suitcase on my bed, packing to catch a nonstop flight to California. And so, of course, the tour was postponed. All kinds of other things. That tour was the first time I stepped back out on stage after 9/11. And as we rolled across the vowel states, Ohio and Indiana and Illinois, I thought to myself, what in the world do I have to say that means anything to anybody right now? And as we rolled along the interstate, and you go under all the bridges where they're hanging American flags and stuff, this tune that I never really knew very well just kind of kept rolling through my head. And I realized that maybe that was what I needed to step back out on stage. And this is it. Let us be lovers and marry our fortunes together. I've got some real estate here in my bag. Ooh. So I bought a pack of cigarettes. This is Wagner's pie. And walked off to look for America. I said as we boarded a Greyhound in Pittsburgh. Michigan seems like a dream to me now. It took me 4 days to hitchhike from Saginaw. I've come to look for America. Laughing on the bus, playing games with the faces. She said the man in the gabardine suit was a spy. I said, be careful, his bow tie is really a camera. Toss me a cigarette, I think there's one in my raincoat. We smoked the last one an hour ago. So I stared at the scenery. She read her magazine, and the moon rose over an open field. Kathy, I'm lost, I said, though I know she was sleeping. I'm empty and aching, and I don't know why. I'm counting the cars on the New Jersey Turnpike. They've all come to look for America. They've all come to look for America. They've all come to look for America. Thank you again so much for having me.
Thank you. Where's the camera?
Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thank you guys so much for coming. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to help pay us or help pay the musician.
Thank you.
Donation box is over here if you guys haven't seen that.
And I'm happy, of course, to sign CDs.
Yes.
I'll sign my daughter's name on them. She likes to sign. My daughter will sit at the CD table and ask people if she wants if they want her to sign.
Get one of those next time.
Nothing in the fatherhood book prepared me for how to deal with this particular scenario. What do you do with that? I don't know.
You smile.
You say sure.
Oh,
You sign
darling.
your name underneath.
Oh, darling.